Hey PJs, welcome back to another video. Today I'm reviewing Froggo Slimes, which is a subscriber slime shop. They do not have an actual slime shop right now. They might at some point, but for now, if you'd like to purchase any slimes, you do have to email them, and I will leave their email in the description. They sent me 5 slimes to review along with 2 extra slimes, and besides the slimes, I was also sent some borax, which is labeled, that's awesome, a cute sticker, and a bunch of candy. And here are the slimes. 5 of them come in these like deli containers with the slime shop name on the top, and then the other 2 are in different containers. Now I will say out of all 7 of them, I had to count for a minute, all but 1 were broken. So they were just kind of put in the box. They were pretty much all cracked or had pieces missing out of the containers. I would recommend using some bubble wrap or packing peanuts just so that doesn't happen, because they kind of knocked into each other. And I even actually kind of hurt my thumb on one of them trying to open the container, so it's just kind of a hazard. There's nothing wrong with the containers, they're fine to use, it's just I would recommend something that will protect them. I would also recommend consistent containers. I would choose one or the other, whether you want to use the deli ones or the taller ones. I would recommend the deli ones. They seem to be more sturdy and easier to get the slimes out. When you see the next freebie slime that I'm showing off, it's a lot harder to get the slime out of the container. Another thing I would recommend is coming up with a slime shop logo for yourself. It just makes your business more professional. Whether you're just selling on email or you want to actually open a shop, it's just something that I would recommend. You can add it to the slime containers and it just looks better. And that goes along with also having a business card of some sort that would just make your business kind of more professional, and it makes like repurchasing a lot easier for your customers. Now that I've got that out of the way, the 2 freebie slimes that they sent me are really nice. That first one was like a purple butter slime that had some micro glitters in it, and I believe it was scented like a mint or peppermint scent. It was really good. The butter slime was really buttery and smooth and super fun to play with. And this second one actually has a name. It's called Dirt Block, which I don't know really what the slime is. It has some instant snow in it and some, I think, packing peanuts. As far as I could tell, it's unscented, but it is pretty crunchy and I like the concept. Moving on to the first slime of this review, this is Scholastic Book Fair, which is a phloem slime scented lightly like sweets. I will say I did find some hairs on the top. I saw at least 3, and it's really hard to see. Like, if you truly want to see them, you'd probably have to pause and like really look for them. As far as I know, they're like animal hairs because they were really short. I just took them out. Now, usually if it's like 1 or so, it's not a huge deal, but since I found multiple in this one, and honestly, after this one, I didn't even think about it. I didn't check the other ones, so I don't know if they had any in them. But I would just recommend having a clean working space when you're making the slimes. That way, dirt and debris and hairs and stuff don't get in the slime. But I personally understand the hairs. Like, if they're animal hairs, I have 3 cats. They get hair everywhere. It doesn't matter if I sanitize everything. There's going to be a hair here and there that I see. But I would recommend cleaning your workspace when you're making slime, after you're done making slime, all that stuff. The slime itself, though, is nice. As far as I could tell, there is no scent, but it is a really pretty phloem. I love when phloem slimes have the multicolored beads in them. I think they look great, and I think I prefer them over the white ones in most cases because I just like the colorful slimes. They make me feel happy. I also love the concept for this one. I remember Scholastic Book Fairs when I was in elementary school, which was 10 years ago. That would have been my last year of elementary school, and now I feel extremely old, but they were a fun time. I feel like a lot of people remember them because it's just like a staple of childhood for a lot of people. The slime does have a tacky, not tacky feel to it, so it's not sticking to my hands tacky, it just feels tacky, which can happen to some slimes. Maybe it's an ingredient I'm not thinking of, but I know it also happens in slimes that have been played with a lot or are just kind of old. They just get like a tacky feel to them. But like, if I just really want to know if there's like an ingredient or something that's doing it, because I've felt it before. It does make it also feel buttery though, which I really like because it's soothing on the hands. Even with the beads and stuff, it just feels very relaxing. I'm giving this one 4 out of 5 pajamas. Next up is Kuromi Crunch, which is a snow fizz with jelly cubes, and this one is unscented. I will say this one was one of my favorites. It's absolutely gorgeous. Like, I love what it looks like right now. I don't think it was intentional to have like the multiple colors in it, but it just looks so good. And I feel like this texture is one that isn't very explored like the Snow Fizz and Jelly Cubes, but it makes a very crunchy slime. You could probably tell, but this one wasn't full in the container. I always recommend filling the slime fully in the container so your customers are always getting like the size that they're ordering. It could have just deflated and stuff maybe from the crack in the container because it was also slightly dry. You can kind of see it's like ripping and stuff. So that may have also contributed to it. I know it didn't leak in the box, so it could be that. Also, I've like a lot of shops when they're first starting out will kind of make the mistake of putting the slimes in the containers as soon as it's made. So there's a lot of air trapped in the slime, and so you're not actually filling it to the top because once that air comes out, then it's deflated, if that makes sense. So this slime was labeled as unscented, and I don't know if it's the color or something that was added in here, but it actually kind of smells like a grape marker. You know, it's like, I know I used to have them as a kid. They like had little fruits on the outside of the marker and they like, you know, smelled like fruit and stuff. This one smells like the grape one, which actually smells really good. So I'm glad this one is scented because I really like this texture and I definitely wish I had more of it. So the scent is definitely a bonus. The jelly cubes that were part of this slime had been filled with slime. That usually happens when the jelly cube sits in slime for a long time, which now that I'm thinking about it could also be why the slime kind of deflated. If you're gonna do jelly cubes in slime and they're not added like by the customer, you kind of have to let it sit for a while because the jelly cubes like to soak in slime. But anyways, back to my point. If you let jelly cubes have slime like soak in, they become really sizzly when you pop them. I loved this one. It's getting 5 out of 5 pajamas. Third for this review is Love Bug Cookie Dough, which is an unscented cloud cream. So this one came in the same container as one of the freebie slimes came in, and like I mentioned earlier, it's just a lot harder to get this one out of the container, so I would recommend the deli containers. I wouldn't stick with them forever, but I think they're an amazing choice for slime shops when you're first starting out, because like with every other product you have to get for your slime shop, they can be extremely expensive unless you buy in bulk, because then they're like less than $1 a piece. But if you buy in bulk, then you have to buy like 500 of them like I just did for my next restock. So it gets expensive, so the deli containers are a perfect option for now. I absolutely love the color for this slime. It reminds me of an acai bowl. I know some people call it acai bowl, but I think I'm saying acai correctly. But basically it's just a smoothie bowl that has fruit and granola on top. I actually had a lot back when quarantine was happening because like I got obsessed with them, but they're really good, so I really liked them. But with the color and the add-ins, which are like fruit themed and stuff, it just really reminds me of an acai bowl, and now I really want one. The texture itself is very smooth and slightly dense, which makes for a really holdable, fun to squish type of slime. It's definitely stress relieving and it's super soft, and it does have those occasional bubble pops, so if you're not a fan of the ones that don't really make any noise, you're good with this one because it can still make bubble pops. But I'm like the type that with these slimes I'll kind of like fold them over and squish them and stuff because I find that to be extremely satisfying. The only downside to the slime is it does have some more snow fallout than I would say is normal. You can even see some of the snow on the outside of the slime as I'm playing with it, and this can happen for a multitude of reasons. You kind of just have to try the texture over and over again until it's got like less fallout or no fallout, which is also an option. But I would try less snow, even more snow. You could try less water in your snow or more. It's just kind of trial and error. But for now, I'm giving this one 4.5 out of 5 pajamas. Next up is Raspberry Buttercream, which is an unscented butter slime. This one also came underfilled, which I would assume is because it was shipped while it was still inflated. So like I mentioned, when you make a slime, I would definitely recommend letting it sit in the container or somewhere so that it can deflate before you put it in the container, so you know if you need to make more or add more or whatever, so it doesn't come to your customer underfilled. The slime itself is very soft and buttery, kind of glossy, and it also produces some pokes and bubble pops, which is really cool because you don't see a lot of butter slimes that can do that. They're kind of like silent slimes when you play with them, so it's really cool that you can get that, but it's still spreadable like a butter slime, still feels like a butter slime. It's really cool. It definitely has the qualities of both a butter and a clay texture, which is amazing. I love that, and the color is super pretty. I also love that it's raspberry themed. I feel like a lot of slimes, when they're turning towards like a buttercream slime or whatever, it's usually like vanilla and strawberry, and you don't see a lot of like different ones, so it's really nice to see a raspberry themed one. Raspberries are underrated. I don't like eating them because of the seeds, they're really annoying, but they're still good. This slime does inflate, and it inflates pretty quickly, which is awesome for anybody like me that doesn't like to sit there and stretch it like forever just to like get a little bit of inflation out of it. It does inflate pretty easily, and once it does become fully inflated, it gets really puffy and even more soft if that's at all possible. I really enjoyed playing with this slime. I found it to be extremely satisfying, and it's definitely one that I wish I had more of, which is really sad because it was one of the deflated ones, and it made me so sad because I just liked this one so much. You already know this one is going to get 5 out of 5 pajamas. And last for this review is Sugar Cookie Dough, which is a Cloudfish slime scented cookies, and it comes with a container of sprinkles and slime. So I was super excited to try this one because I don't think I've seen anyone else do a Cloudfish slime. I did one in my last restock that was cherry blossom themed, and I loved it so much because it's got the drizzles of a cloud slime, and then you still have the feel of the snowfish pieces in it, and it drizzles so cool because you see the snowfish pieces as they're falling. It's just such a cool underrated texture, so I was so glad to see another shop doing it. If you couldn't tell though, the extra slime that came was completely overactivated. It kind of sat on the slime like a jelly, which I was really scared to mix it in the slime. I thought it was gonna like really mess up the slime and I wasn't going to be able to play with it, but surprisingly it really didn't do anything to the slime at all. It just kind of mixed in, and the slime felt pretty much how it did before I mixed it in, so it was a cool experience to mix in something so overactivated and it didn't do anything. But it was also kind of confusing because it didn't do anything, and I don't know. This slime is supposed to be scented like cookies. I would say I smell something sweet and cookie-like, but it is extremely weak. In my opinion, I always like scents that I can smell a lot better, but this one I had to really get up close to be able to smell it, so I would recommend adding more scent, but that is just my opinion. The texture is definitely more like a cloud dough fizz because it doesn't drizzle like a cloud slime does, and it kind of just feels more doughy like a cloud dough slime, which there's nothing wrong with that either. It's a good texture. I'm not the biggest fan of cloud doughs, but I think it's still really fun to squish, and you can feel those snowfish pieces in it. It's definitely another one of those therapeutic type feeling slimes that's just so fun to fold and just hold. I'm giving this slime 4 out of 5 pajamas. And with that, that is the end of this review, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. I don't really have any closing thoughts, so just to reiterate what I said before, I would definitely recommend having consistent containers. My vote is for the deli containers. They're more sturdy, and I think they look better. They're also easier to get the slime out of. I would definitely recommend bubble wrap or some packing peanuts, something to secure the slime so they don't crack like these did. I'd look into making some slime shop logos of some sort and some business cards to make your shop even more professional. That's it. Now I'm signing off, and I will see you guys in the next one.